Hello, ladies. Good morning to those of you in the UK. Good afternoon for those of you in Australia. How are you doing today? I am super excited to be here, and I hope this is working because I've never actually streamed this way before into a group. I normally use the direct integration. But today I'm going to be talking to you guys about how to plan and create a lead magnet funnel that actually converts. So just want to double check that I'm actually live. And so if you're watching on the replay, please do give me a hashtag replay. And if you're watching live, say hello. And just hopefully I'm live anyway. We'll soon find out if it didn't work. So first of all, if you're watching, let me know where you're watching from, and if you've got any experience in, if you've got a lead magnet, if you've got any experience in it, or like where you are with your business and all that kind of stuff. And I'll try and check comments as I go along. I'm not sure if I've always had problems with this live producer studio, so we'll see if it works. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through I've got a framework that I follow, and it's called the SCALE framework. So SCALE. So SCALE, it stands for strategy, content create, actualize, launch, and enhance. And when you follow these steps in this order, it's not only a lot easier, but it's also a lot more effective. And it's the only way. You have to follow all of them steps, and then you will end up with an effective, a high converting funnel for you to grow an audience of, your perfect audience. So I'm going to get right into it then. So first of all, under the strategy section, the first thing we need to actually look at is your audience. Obviously, we always go back to that ICA work, the ideal client avatar. And you need to know your audience inside out. You need to be able to put yourself in their shoes, and you need to know what their desires, their pain points, their dreams are, because this is going to help you, it's going to help you to know actually what they need. But then what I do, and this is maybe unexpected or a little bit different, but what I then tell my clients to do is you have to actually go to the end goal. So what is your end goal, but also what is their end goal? So hopefully your end goal and their end goals are basically the same thing, they're aligned. So let's just say you've got a signature program, you've got a group program, a high ticket program, maybe you've got a membership, whatever it is that's your goal. That's excuse me, the thing that you solve for them, that's going to be their end goal, what they need. But then what you actually have to do is you have to go take a step back again, that's going to make them aware either that they have a problem or that there's a solution to their problem, and also that you are the one that has the solution to their problem. So I hope that makes sense. Let me know in the comments if that does make sense. So for example, if you're, if you've got a program where you help, let's just say you're a healer and you've got a program, you've got a group program, you do lots of different types of healing therapy and so on. The first step for them, they might not even know that there's ways of, healing something without having to, take medicine, for example. So it could be 10 ways to improve your lifestyle, improve your daily, your daily going about kind of thing, without having to take any medication. 10 ways of reducing this pain or having better movement or that kind of stuff. So it's actually, a lot of the time they won't actually be aware of the fact that what you do is actually a thing. And so they're becoming aware of the solution. Then obviously when they come into your world and take your guide, then they're learning about it, and they're learning that you're the person to know about, you're that expert. But we're not going to jump ahead too much here. So you just need to do that. And what I want you to do is you come up with maybe 3 ideas based on this one kind of end goal that you're going to focus on, because you're not just going to have one funnel for your whole business. If you've got a few different programs at different price points, you're probably going to need eventually a few different lead magnets, one to suit each thing. So, just come up with a few ideas of what this could be. And then the next thing you need to do, which is absolutely crucial, a lot of people don't do this, is it's really, really important to do your market research. So what you could do, for example, is come up with 3 ideas, and come up with a title for each of them. And then you can just post in groups like this one, and say, hey, which of these 3 would you be, more interested in? And then you find out that way, which one appeals the most. But there's more things you need to consider as well. So it could be 3 ideas of like, what it is and what you're talking about. But then you have to think about what format it is. What format are you going to give this freebie in? This lead magnet. When I talk about lead magnet, it's just something you give for free in exchange for an email address. So, is it going to be a PDF? Is it going to be an ebook? Is it going to be a live training? So you need to go back to your audience again and think about them and think, well, what are these people doing? Like if they're really, really busy, they're not going to be able to sit and watch like an hour-long training. Maybe they just want something like a guide or a checklist that they can just go by, or if it's, I'm not sure, just like think about who it is though. Like, if it's something technical, it's a video is probably going to be better because then they can actually watch it and see it. So you just really like think about that. And again, you can do market research on that aspect as well. And then finally, when you know what format you're doing and you know what the actual freebie is going to be, actually do some more titles as well. Write out some more titles and do market research on the titles, because the title of your freebie is absolutely crucial. It's absolutely crucial. It's the first thing they see. So if you talk about this thing and it's not what they want, then no one's going to go into it, so that's like the main strategy thing. So you figure out what your goals are, like who you're going to help, what your goals are, how you're going to get them to that goal, how you're going to bridge that gap, and then what you're actually going to offer and get proof that it's the right thing to do, and so on. So that's like the S part of the scale framework in a nutshell. So after that, we move on to content create. And what we actually do is before you even start creating this lead magnet, you're going to write the content for it. So this is like my number 1 rule with this framework. Like, we don't actually create anything. So the actualize, that's the creation part, and the C part, the content create. So you actually write it. So you will write, and this sounds a little bit crazy, but you will write your landing page the landing page copy, or the sales copy for this freebie before you even create the freebie. And the reason for that is because you have to work on the features and the benefits, and you have to work out what the benefits are. What does this freebie have, and how does it benefit your audience? And only once you've worked that out can you create your freebie, because you need to make sure your freebie has stuff in it that sounds good on a sales page. So a lot of people don't do like that. A lot of people will create a guide and then they'll write sales copy for it, and then they'll suddenly realize that it doesn't sound that good on the site, on the registration page, and so on. So do that. 2 copies where you can create your actual freebie. So obviously use templates wherever you can get them. Use Canva. Make sure it looks professional. Very, very important. And then basically what you're going to be writing. So if you're using a website, you'll be writing your web page copy. So registration page, thank you page. You'll be writing emails. So obviously you're going to need to send emails, and you're going to have to decide what you're going to do after you send them this. But what you need to do basically is when someone signs up to a freebie, they're going to need, first of all, an email that's going to send them the freebie. So they've got it there on email. But then what you should do after that is actually you should nurture them. Because if you just send them an email with a freebie and then don't contact them again, they're going to have forgotten who you are, like within a short amount of time. So it's important to do that. So you've got your web pages, your email copy, and then the freebie itself. So get all of that written so you know exactly what you're going to do. And then only after that's done do we move on to the A part of the scale framework, which is actualize. And this is where you actually start making stuff. So, basically the tech, So first of all, you need to figure out where you're going to host it. So where are you going to host this lead magnet and funnel? So you can do it a few different ways. If you've got a website, you just do it on your website, don't you? You've got like a thank you page, a landing page, and so on. If you don't have a website, but you do have email marketing software, you can just do it using the email marketing software, because you can just create a form on your email marketing software. No matter what platform you use, there will be an option to use their link. It won't look the best, and it won't look nice when you're sharing the link. But if that's what you've got, then you can do that. You can work with that. It's fine. There's no reason why you can't do that. And also then obviously it's already connected to your email marketing software. And then the third way you can do it is actually by using a messenger bot. So what I mean by a messenger bot is, for example, I don't know, some of you that, just trying to think, some of you that have ever done like been in someone's Facebook 5-day challenge, And then you get like, you can register on a bot, and then you get messages through reminding you to show up and do all this stuff. You can actually create a lead magnet funnel in exactly the same way. And you can do this from Instagram and Facebook page, not profile, it has to be a page. And you can set it up so that either you can create it inside, so it's like, hey, do you want this freebie? It gives them the benefits. They give their email address and it sends them it on Messenger. You can connect it to your email marketing software if you want, or you can just have it all inside the bot. It's really up to you. You don't need to have loads of software. And then from that, I've just forgotten where I was going to go. Oh yeah, sorry. So with that, you can either send them a direct link, like to opt into that. So they'll click the link and it will open Messenger and it will send them it. It's really like that simple. But also you can do it so that you set up special like keywords that trigger it to send. So say you're on Instagram and you choose the keyword freebie and you post and you say, comment below the word freebie if you want, and I'll send it to you. Once people comment freebie, it will automatically send it to them. So using a messenger bot is a fantastic way of doing it. You can set it up so that it triggers when people mention you in a story. It can trigger when people send you a message. You can do it in lots of different ways. Really, really powerful tool. But I'm just trying to make it clear that you don't need to have a website. You don't need to have a website. You don't even need to have email marketing software. You can literally do it all within Facebook Messenger. And it's a really easy, fun, and cheap way to do it. So that's just like, figuring out what kind of software you want to use. I'm going to delve a little bit into if you are using a website, because if you're doing the email marketing way or the messenger bot way, it doesn't really matter like how it looks, because there's nothing visual there. But if you're doing a website, you do need to make sure that it's got some specific things on there. So I'm just going to go through them now. So first of all, you need to make sure that it's got an awesome headline. This may or may not be the name of your lead magnet. If maybe you don't think the name of the lead magnet is good enough, or maybe you just think it's not clear enough, you can just write a headline, and it needs to be a bit like, like how people do a LinkedIn statement, like, I help X achieve Y by doing Z. This kind of headline that makes it really clear the second they go on a page, who it's for and so on. And then you can have a sub headline which elaborates on it, which says, this is a type, what format is it, who's it for, and so on. So it's really important that it's got a strong headline. It's really important that you've got the benefits on there, not just the features, but the actual benefits. When we're writing persuasive copy, it's really important to actually focus on how it helps the people rather than what you've put in it. And just to mention, it may be a freebie, but it doesn't mean it doesn't need persuasive copy. It doesn't need sales copy. It does. Everything. People don't just hand over an email address for nothing. So then you've got forms. You need to make sure that your form is optimized. So you don't want to be asking loads and loads of questions unless you want really, really, really high quality leads, which is, you're more likely to put something like that for like a high ticket thing, not for a freebie. You just want them to give you your name and email address. You need to make sure you're compliant with GDPR. Make sure you've got the little tick box that says, I agree to you sending me this freebie. Sorry, there's a little ant running across my keyboard. So make sure it's compliant. And then on that page, also make sure you've got some sort of proof, like these people are coming in from Adam, especially if you're like scaling this and you're running Facebook ads. So like, proof, testimonials. Make sure you've got an image of your freebie, make it look tangible with what we call a mock-up image. And include a little bio on there as well, so they know who you are and why you're the person who should be allowed to give this to them. So those are like the things that need to go into your page, and then you need to make sure it's actually optimized as well. And a lot of people get the first bit right, but don't actually get this bit right. So jot these down if you've actually, and go and check your own landing pages if you've got a freebie funnel. So first of all, make sure it's mobile friendly. Like this is a massive one. Everyone's using mobile. 98% of people on Facebook are using mobile. 80% just use mobile, 98% use mobile and desktop, and something like 2% just use desktop. Make sure it loads fast. Make sure the form is above the fold. Now, what that means is as soon as they land on that page, you need to be able to see it at the top there. And that's on all devices. So on desktop, tablet, and mobile. Make sure they can see the button or the form the second they land on that page on all devices. Make sure there's not too many fields. GDPR, I said that. It needs to have a privacy policy, especially if you're going to run Facebook ads to it later. Make sure your call to actions don't just have register or sign up. Have, yes, I'm ready to change my life. Or yes, have something that people are going to actually physically read and agree to in their mind. It's like really powerful like way of writing things. Make sure it looks professional and make sure it suits your brand, your tone, all that kind of stuff. And then with your thank you page, just make sure you've got some clear instructions for them of how to access their freebie, and also give them a next step to take. Invite them to your group, invite them to subscribe to your podcast, and so on. Okay, so then the last bit of the kind of like actualized thing is nurturing. So I mentioned the emails earlier, but obviously just make sure that you're like setting up some kind of like email automation to happen, or bot if you're doing it, if you're keeping it all in a bot. But like, what are you going to do after the sign up? Are you going to send them a nurture sequence? Are you going to add them to your newsletter? Are you going to send them a promo series? Are you going to try and sell them something? You need to decide, and you need to make sure that your email matches up with what you want to do. And then, yeah, I'm not going to talk about like integration now, but obviously you just make sure it all links up together and stuff. And then once that's all done, it's then time to test it. And this comes under the kind of like launch part of the framework. So, make sure, just test it, just run through it, make sure everything works as it should, make sure you get your emails, make sure you get your freebie, make sure you can open your freebie, all that kind of stuff. Test it on all devices again. And once you're happy that it works, and this bit people always forget to do, but you need to make sure you've got tracking on there. So if, as of today, Google Analytics is going to disappear next month, July 2023. So if you haven't already set up GA4, which is what's replacing it, like go and do that now. Make sure you've got that installed. Make sure you've got a Facebook pixel installed on your website if you're doing that, even if you don't plan to run Facebook ads yet. Just let it start building up. You can keep 180 days worth of audience in there in your pixel, 180 days. So if you think, in 180 days from now, you might just want to try running an ad. If you haven't got any data on there, you're going to kick yourself, because it's really important that you've been gathering data for that entire time. So that was just testing, tracking. Yeah, and once your tracking's set up, basically the only things you need to make sure you can track your landing page and your thank you page. Then you can see the amount of people that have seen it and the amount of people that have signed up. Then you work out what % of people who saw it signed up, and that's your conversion rate. And you want to be aiming for 40 to 50%. So if you're not hitting those numbers, you need to tweak, you need to make it better. Okay. And then when you are ready to actually launch, so when I say launch in this part of the framework, I don't mean doing a live launch with like a challenge or a masterclass. I mean literally just launch it, like put it public, put it out there. So you can share it across social media, you can share it in people's groups, you can do a live, you can post stories about it. And this is all like outbound marketing techniques. But then you can also do what I call inbound marketing techniques. And I think I actually shared this in a post a couple of days ago. But what that means is strategically putting it in places where your audience will naturally stumble across it and they'll be able to sign up. So a few examples, like create a cover image for like your profile and pages, add like pinned and featured posts to all your platforms with it, add it to your link tree if you've got link tree, or I use a quick links page. I don't use link tree because if I use a page on my website instead, my Facebook pixel will pick up everyone that's been on my website. Whereas if you use Linktree, they keep your audience. You don't get to keep your own audience. So if you can, just create a really basic page with like quick links and put like all your freebies and like offers on there in one place. And then you've got an audience to retarget to if or when you want to actually run Facebook ads. Create an Instagram story and add it to your highlights because people like to scroll highlights. Website homepage, menu, a pop-up that appears across your website. That's a good place to put it because anyone who goes on your website, when they go to leave, it'll pop up and offer them it. And it might just be, exactly what they need to go into your world without you having to actively market anything. On your email signature, on your bio, on platforms, and if you've got a blog, you can add in between paragraphs a little call to action box that's relevant to that blog that they're reading where they can sign up for it. That's a really good way of doing it. So if you do all that and put it in all those places, you're going to be generating a lot more leads, like passively, than you would be if you'd, than if you were just doing the outbound stuff, if you were just posting and going live and running ads and doing all that kind of stuff. So that was the L launch. And then finally, enhance. This is the final one. And enhance is what happens after we've launched it, after we've been driving traffic to it, and when we know what's happening. So basically, you need to check those stats that we figured out we could get from the tracking. And you figure out what your conversion rates are basically, and you need to see where it's not performing, and you need to tweak and just make little changes and test it until you improve those rates. And then when it's performing well, you can actually monetize it. So there's things you can do that are a bit outside the scope of this training, but there's things you can do to actually make money off it directly as passive income. And that's like one of the things that I teach in my signature program. And then obviously you can always scale it with ads. And once you're running ads to a lead magnet funnel that's already performing well organically, you know that it's going to perform well on ads. Like, never run ads to something that's not performing well organically, unless you're happy to throw away the money. I've done it so many times because I'm like lazy to do the organic thing, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm just going to run ads to it. It's going to be great. When I'm not following my own advice, I'm like my own worst student. And then finally, like, eventually what you want to be doing is like creating more of these little funnels and then linking them up so that you've got this whole like evergreen empire, as I call it, and your whole business can feed, and you can grow, and on all the levels, on like passively, semi-passive, and recurring revenue on your low ticket, your mid ticket, and your high ticket programs. And people are just going to automatically going to be fed there. But it starts with a lead magnet, basically. Like, most of the time it starts with a lead magnet. And yeah, so when I did whiz through that, so do let me know if you've got any questions at all. If you have commented, it's not actually showing in here, unfortunately, so I'll have to reply manually when I get off this live. But yeah, I hope that's been helpful. So I just want to tell you about something. So earlier, obviously, I was talking about how you can actually create a lead magnet funnel inside a bot. So I have actually created a template, which is like a plug and play template for you to do this. And just for you ladies, as part of this group. So normally at the moment, that's on sale. I think it's like 97 normally, but it's on sale at the moment for 47. But I will give you guys off this for $17 if you guys want to take it. So I will share the link. And basically, it's a pre-built lead magnet funnel that works on Instagram, on Messenger. So like, when people comment on your posts, it will automatically message them with your lead magnet, and then afterwards it's going to ask for feedback, so you can use that as proof. It's going to invite them to your group, and later it's going to ask them if they want to jump on a call to talk about how you can help them. So, and obviously you can do whatever you want to it. It's completely customizable. There's videos for every single step of the way. There's a content plan. So I will actually give you guys that for $17 if you want it. If you've got any questions, just shoot them across. That's absolutely fine. And yeah, I'll pop the link below so you can have a look anyway. Once you click on it, you have an hour to get it at that price, and then it's going to redirect to the normal priced one. And yeah, so let me know if that was helpful at all. I would love to hear from you guys. And if you've got any questions, also something to ask. Yeah, no, I think I covered all my points there. So thank you very much, ladies. It's been very exciting. I'm going to be coming on hopefully every week to talk about stuff. So let me know where you are with things, and I can tailor what I talk about to you guys specifically, depending on where you are. So obviously the lead magnet thing is the very beginning. What I do actually goes a lot more in depth than that, but I just wanted to kind of get a feel for everyone in the group and see where you are, with things in your business and so on. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys soon. All right. Thank you so much. Lots of love.